Howdy folks, AJ coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, and it's Beer 30. This evening's selection is called Snowbird Dunkelweizen. Now, Snowbird, what it says here, and up here, Snowbird is a local ski resort here in Utah. And actually, from where I am, it's only about 25, maybe 30 minutes away. Some of the best skiing, apparently, in the world up there at Snowbird. And this is brewed by a local brewery, Squatters. And they make some beers that I really like, and there's a couple that they make that I don't really care for. This one being a Dunkelweizen, and for those that don't know what a Dunkelweizen is, it is a Hefeweizen made with darker malts, so it comes out dark, where a regular Hefeweizen would be a lighter color. So basically, this is a dark Hefeweizen, is what it means. And they hit it out of the park with this one. This one's really good. It's hard to find a good Hefeweizen brewed in America that tastes like a Hefeweizen you would get in Germany. And this is pretty darn close. So, and I did read the bottle beforehand, and there's a reason that it's that close. It says the German Dunkelweizen is brewed with the finest dark malts, providing a rich amber hue, fermented with the famous Velhesteffen yeast from Germany. The Weiss beer remains Bavarian authentic. So there's a reason why it tastes like the Hefeweizens I would get in Germany. So it is delicious. Now, even though this is a Beer 30 video, I do have to announce one little addendum to I did an earlier video this evening regarding Sony Online Entertainment's decision to close 4 of their massive multiplayer online role-playing games, their MMOs. And it was shortly after I published that video that the president and CEO of SOE, Mr. John Smedley, who is known also as just Smed, went on Reddit and did an Ask Me Anything type of a deal, kind of like a damage control thing, I'm sure. After those big announcements, he wanted to control spin and everything. But during that Ask Me Anything, and this is an important little thing that happened. He was asked by someone if he could get one redo of a game, of the games that they've done as under Sony Online Entertainment, of their MMOs, which one would he pick? And he picked, and I'm almost kind of thinking maybe that was a plant that he had it set up ahead of time for someone to anonymously send that question to him because he wanted to drop a little bit of a bomb on all of us. But regardless of how it came about, the question was asked, and his answer was Star Wars Galaxies. And he says, I would do everything differently, was his response. But then he went on to add this: Star Wars Galaxies players, our next game, and then in parentheses, not announced yet, is dedicated to you, all in capitals. Once we launch it, you can come home now. That was his statement. And for anybody that was a Star Wars Galaxies player, that is either really a big tease, or it's downright cruel. Because Star Wars Galaxies was not like any other MMO before or after, really. Probably the closest one beforehand would have been Ultima Online. But Star Wars Galaxies had a completely player-controlled economy. Everything was made by the players. All the items had decay, so that your weapons and your armor over time would get damaged and need repair, and they could only be, after they'd been repaired so many times, they would eventually just fall apart, which is kind of realistic in, you know. So what that meant was that armor smiths and weaponsmiths always had returned customers, because they would go through armor, they would go through weapons, and they would need new ones. And it gave armor smiths and weaponsmiths a motivation to continue to try and make better and better stuff. And so there was competition, and the stats. I mean, the resources had individual stats, and they wrote. There was, you know, veins of resources that would only last for so long, and they would have random stats on them. And then if you found really good ones, and you were quiet about it, you could hoard, try and get as much of that as you could, drop as many harvesters on it, get as much as you could, and kind of corner the market. I mean, it was all kind of real life strategy type stuff, as if somebody in the real market would try to do with cornering a market, you know, type. You could do all those things in Star Wars Galaxies. So for him to say something like that is either a gigantic tease, because he really does believe that the next great Star Wars Galaxies like MMO, they're planning to announce it, or it's not going to be, and he knows it's not going to live up to it, but he just threw it out there to diffuse and to decoy, use it as a decoy to get people off of the whole idea that they just canceled four of their MMOs, which would be damn right cruel if he did that. So we have no idea which of the two it is till we find out when it gets announced and so forth and so on. But I couldn't let the evening go without addressing that specifically, because that is my favorite game of all time, Star Wars Galaxies. So for all those others out there that are the same boat as me, who loved Star Wars Galaxies, and this, you didn't know how to take this comment from him, I'm right there with you. Cheers. Let's hope that it's the greatest tease of all time, that he's going to absolutely deliver on this promise, and that it's going to be another fantastic Star Wars Galaxies type experience. Let's just hope. That'll do it for this Beer 30, guys. Cheers, and we'll catch you on the flip.